Otedin. Welcome to the Cape Coast. Just behind me, you can see one of the many forts that line the coast of Ghana. These were established by the Europeans, the Dutch, the British, the Portuguese. They came here originally to trade for gold, and later, tragically, for slaves. Many of these forts, like the one I'm standing in right now, were abandoned for centuries. This particular fort was mainly designed to trade for gold, not slaves, although there were slaves that passed through here as well. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a trip along the coast to visit the ruins of some of these forts and learn a bit more about the history of how all of this happened. Of course, to talk about the history of this area, that means inevitably we're going to be talking about the history of the slave trade, which is not a very fun topic to talk about. I understand that, especially for many people in Brazil, the Caribbean, and the US. But as they say, if we don't learn from the mistakes of history, we're doomed to repeat them again. I'll try to cover these topics as objectively and respectfully as I can during this video. So I'm here today with my friend Eko Simpson.
Yes.
He's going to be accompanying me on this tour along the coast of Ghana. You're from this area, right?
Yeah, I'm from Central Region.
Central Region.
Yeah, and we are in Central Region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't speak Twi here. What do they speak?
No, we speak Fanti.
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 Another new language. It's really interesting how this fort is just kind of buried in a village. Like if you drove past this, you wouldn't even know it's here. But actually the name of the town, what's the name of the town?
Abanzi.
Abanzi.
Yeah.
And that means like at the bottom of the fort, right?
Yes.
So this entire town just ended up being built along the sides of the fort. Which is kind of depressing, I guess, but something that happened. What do people do with this? They eat them? It's adi? Okay. Okay. Medidi?
This is star.
Yeah. It's for cooking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The sea.
What does it taste like?
Sea.
Is it tasty?
Yeah.
Like akoko?
No. No, it is.
Okay.
The star.
It's nice.
Yeah.
How much for one?
Yeah. 10 cedi.
Here you go.
Yeah, thank you.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I have no idea how I would even eat this. And I don't know if it's worth 10 cedis or not. I don't really care. I've never bought a starfish before. China. China is here? They're building? They're over there. I guess this is the new fishing port that's being built. There's like a single Chinese engineer and multiple Ghanaian workers. This is apparently the traditional fishing port of the village. China, seemingly, is going around the whole coast building new modernized ones. Yeah. It's good. You have to crush it?
No. You have to like clean it and then paste it somewhere. You don't eat it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like for the wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Not food. Not ajuani. It does. These guys just came back from sea and they're tying up the boats, I guess?
Yeah. I think they had a little problem over there, so they are trying to fix it before they will do it again.
Yeah. It happens. Boko and Sewell, Afi? Okay, good luck. Men to me chop, Afi. Men to me.
Want to make chop it?
Later. Alright, it's time for us to get back on the road. There's a major road that runs all along the south of Ghana. It passes Cape Coast, Takoradi, but eventually goes to the Ivory Coast. That's where we're going. What's going on?
There's a funeral. These things is what they use to clean the dead body or to dress the dead body. So they have paraded through town.
Oh,
Yeah.
they take funerals very seriously in Ghana.
Funeral in Ghana is like a business. Yeah,
Like
funeral in Ghana is a business for certain people.
Funerals are a big business in Ghana.
Yeah, it is.
So we're now at Fort William, which, unlike the last fort, this fort was intentionally built by the British to house slaves before shipping them off to Brazil, the Caribbean, or the U.S. They have here a map of the slave routes of Ghana. They would capture slaves even in the north of the country, even in countries further north, like Chad, Burkina Faso, and then bring them, march them all the way down to the coast. Horrific thing, very horrific thing. If you come here to Ghana and you visit any of these numerous forts that you find along the coast, there'll often be a local guide who will take you in, and for a small amount of money, will explain the history of the place. What's your name again?
I'm Godwin.
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 Yeah. Godwin just took me around, told me about some of the stuff. I can't recount everything that he told me because it's too horrible. But if you're around here, if you're on the Cape Coast of Ghana, come and check out these forts. Horrific conditions and everything that you learn about here, it's really brutal. It doesn't surprise me to learn that a lot of people that come here to visit this, many people from the diaspora in the Americas, they start crying seeing all this. It just hurts your soul. We gotta stop being terrible to each other, no matter who we are. They call this right here the door of no return because the slaves would march through here, and then at the end, they would go out this gate, which would eventually lead to a ship that would take them somewhere in the Americas, maybe Brazil, maybe the Dominican Republic, who knows. That would be one horrible journey. And it's just crazy to imagine that maybe the ancestors of the Maroons that I met in Jamaica or Suriname, it's possible they passed through this fort. In the 1500s, the Portuguese were the first Europeans to go sailing along the coast of Africa. They had found some uninhabited islands off the western coast. Nowadays, these are the countries of Cape Verde and Sao Tome and Principe. The Portuguese wanted labor for the islands, and so they went to Congo and they went searching for slave labor. At first, the Portuguese tried to acquire these slaves by themselves. They went in on raiding missions, tried to kidnap people, but in the end, it was actually too difficult for them. They would keep getting sick from malaria and other diseases. They were also hugely outnumbered by the existing tribes and empires that were there, so they'd often get killed off when they tried to go into the country. So the Portuguese changed strategies. They tried to work with the existing empires to get what they wanted, because they had one thing they were sure that the people in Congo would like to barter for. This right here. Guns and cannons. Slavery existed before the arrival of the Europeans in Africa. But when the Portuguese arrived with their guns, they unknowingly set off a giant chain reaction that led to one of the greatest tragedies in human history. The Europeans wanted slaves for their sugar plantations in the Caribbean and the rest of the Americas. The African empires needed guns to conquer the surrounding tribes and control more land. So all along the coast of West Africa, Africans began to attack each other and sell their competing tribes into slavery. Meanwhile, the Europeans fought with each other in order to control territory along the coast to build their own forts. All these forts that you can find along the coast in Ghana, they were held at various times by the Portuguese, by the Dutch, by the British, and by the Swedish and Danish, which is kind of random. They would pass hands between all of them. Ultimately, the British came into command of all of them. What did they say? Kwesi. Okay. If your name is Kwesi, that means you're born on what day?
Sunday.
Sunday. Okay.
Yes.
You're Sunday born. Okay. And I'm Kofi. I'm born on Friday.
Yes. And I'm Kofi too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kofi number 2.
Yes.
Just cruising through Ghana.
This is where we roll. This is where we go out.
Okay. Alright, so now we're in Cow's hood. Apparently he knows everybody here. And there's also a fortress here, buried right in the middle of it. Good evening. Hey.
So that when you go, when you go, and
Yeah.
something happens, you can come back and ask them for
Yeah.
help. Good evening, mommy.
Hey, Cal just told me whenever I pass an elderly person sitting down, I should say good evening. Gotta follow the rules. So there's a god in this tree right here.
Yes.
Wow. What do the gods do? Like,
We have a belief that whatever God created, the supreme God created,
yeah.
we can speak through those to Him.
Oh.
So we have like trees, stones, animals. So it depends on the family, what their belief is.
You can see how not knowing the local customs in places in Africa can lead to a lot of offense. Imagine if you went and cut that tree down. This is a lady who just passed away, announcing her funeral. So this fort, unlike the other forts that we've come across, actually has some squatters living here. Let's go check out the top. Okay. Oh, ow. You would think in West Africa I wouldn't have to worry about hitting my head that much. But no. As we walk up these stairs towards the top of the fort, you can see more and more of Cape Coast. Basically the biggest town, city in the region. There we go. So this was more
So
like
they use it to protect the castle, to watch if there is any danger coming close to the castle.
more like a lookout post.
Exactly, and then they will fire from here to defend the castle. So they see it first before the others see it.
Hi.
Alright, what they're saying?
Fine. I'm in charge of this place.
We're just exploring.
I have to give you something when you finish.
Okay.
But I was in one way. Now, you go ahead and
There's some disagreements about having to pay to be in here. Anyway, as you heard, this fort, unlike the others, is more like a lookout post. The British built it in the 1800s, when slavery was already abolished, at least in the UK. The slavery periods and the British colonization of Ghana actually happened at two different times, in two different periods. The British colonization was much later. It didn't happen until the 1890s, when they went in and finally conquered the Ashanti. By the time that colonization was in full swing in West Africa, it wasn't about slavery anymore. It was more just about, well, for being honest, a giant dick-waving contest between the European powers. Britain didn't want France to control all of West Africa. Germany didn't want that either, so they all rushed to take different territories. Alright. It's unfortunately getting a little too late to continue our tour of all the forts along the coast of Ghana. I think it might be time for some food. Everybody here is at peace with each other.
Exactly. Like
Nobody hates each other for another tribe.
yes, exactly. Like if that boundary, if that gorges will be there, probably there will be conflict all over.
Yeah,
You can't travel to north.
yeah,
You can't travel to any of the other sides.
yeah.
But because there is an understanding.
You're saying Ghana would be Nigeria.
Exactly.
No, I'm really happy about that though. Ghana reminds me of Tanzania, East Africa. Same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody respects each other. They're nice. I don't know what secret Ghana and Tanzania have, but people are really nice to each other here.
You know, it's the foundation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the foundation.
They made us believe that we are one. If we fight,
Yeah.
we aren't gonna achieve anything. If we stay together, that means they will give us. We all will benefit from the peace that we want,
Yeah,
and that has been manifesting up to date.
yeah,
The peace is still with us, and we're
true.
still enjoying it.
yeah. You got what many people think is the most successful country in West Africa.
Yeah.
You know?
That's it. Irrespective of where Echo
Yeah,
is from. When I see him as a brother. I
yeah,
see him as we all stand for Ghana.
yeah,
So we all stand for one piece.
yeah.
So we need to embrace and love ourselves.
Yeah.
You understand? That is why when you come to the coastal line,
Yeah.
you see people that don't have much, but they are happy on the street.
Yeah.
They embrace themselves so loud.
That's something that a lot of people in the West, they don't understand. They think you're all depressed over here. A lot of people, granted there's problems, I know,
Yeah.
but people are still happy.
So it's more like we sometimes feel comfortable with what we have at the moment,
Yeah,
not to be envious on what someone
yeah,
has or what someone is doing.
yeah,
But when they have it,
yeah,
they feel good. But when they don't have, they feel the best time is ahead. So they need to be patient and do or work on whatever that they have at hand.
yeah. That's a useful skill. Be happy with what you have.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, it's the foundation.
What's going on? Yeah, they're having a carnival, a walk. And this part is about wearing anything you want. That is why look at him, he looks different.
Oh, okay. 2 hours later, we're right in the middle of another carnival again. I swear to God, I've been in Ghana for like a few weeks, and every single day I walk into a carnival by accident. It's the country of festivals.